thanks to a very curious set of circumstances and events, I came across various self-help authors, uh, speakers, whatever, courses. There's really a lot out there you can learn about them. I'm not too proud about um, learning about these people and their concepts, their so-called concepts. Um, and because I was always was not actually motivated to read their text to learn that material. Um, I just needed the money, and I needed to make. I needed had some contracts, and I was supposed to like read those texts and maybe make summaries, something like that. And that's a topic on its own, making summaries about that kind of material, self-help, self-development, whatever, motivational. It's very ironic that people are not even ready to actually read those nonsense, and they actually more that there's a whole market actually of summaries and companies that hire people like me, mercenaries, who are ready to play this intellectual hide and seek game. It's not even hide and seek; it's a game of pretending. In my case, at least, we are pretending. We as me and other writers, so to say, we are pretending to work on something important, and they are pretending, the readers, they are pretending to learn something while they're not learning. Um, but this last project, once again under within brackets, within asterisks, whatever. Uh, last project really showed me just how pointless this is on various levels, on many levels, um, and made me even more resolute and more determined not to indulge in this kind of projects, and actually not to cast a glance ever at a content like that. Why? Because um, how I justified my actions in this field before. It was like, okay, it's helping me improve my English. I'm becoming a better reader, better summarizer, better. I improve my conceptual thinking. I don't know, and that might have been the case actually, especially with the writing part and the expression part. As far as English is concerned, it helped me and helped with it helped me with my working habits. So my rationale was, okay, if I can get myself together to write this kind of crap, to summarize this kind of crap, I can do anything. I can do more meaningful work, most certainly. And that also might have been true, but with this last project, I think I started to grasp the sheer meaninglessness of the whole field, and the pervasiveness. the pervasiveness and the consequences of that's the toxic field which we now call self-help, but which has actually grown, uh, has taken over many other fields and has actually made some in the process. I think so. It has made a lot of avatars, a lot of mirages that seem different and seem novel, but they're actually the expression, another iteration of the same thing, the same old story. And what is a story? Uh, so after sifting through, after digging through piles and piles of that content, and my impression is that it all revolves around one flawed hypothesis and one type of flawed uh, decision-making process and judgment, actually judgment, um, one style of judgment, which is circularity. So I believe that circularity and conceptual, purposeful conceptual vagueness and circularity um, are the core characteristics of the self-help industry, um, and which are all made possible by this core flawed hypothesis, which is actually accepted by many. So while the whole conceptual chaos and the actual inexistence of any real concepts, um, um, so beside that, which is a purposeful move, has a purpose to make people more gullible, to give off the impression of science or anything. Um, there's a deeper hypothesis that's maybe um, uh, it's accepted on a deeper level, probably on a conscious level, which is a kind of a double game with the I, the self, the subject. There are really many terms. There were many terms even before self-help for this, but self-help brought this to another level, and we have really a plethora of terms for the I, the subject. You, you can do it. And for the you, that has to be better. For the real you, which is not the present you, uh, uh, it's also not a part of you that it's hard for you to understand. No, it's the best you, the best version of yourself, usually. Um, it's the you that you are striving to become, and that you after I don't know how much time you eventually become that version of you, and I guess that's actually the uh, the worst nightmare of self-help authors, so-called authors and motivational speakers. That's you reaching your best version of yourself. That's actually their worst nightmare, because in that case, then they cannot sell their content to you. They cannot sell it. They can't do anything about it. Uh, So yeah, that's an irony within an irony. There will be much more of them as we dig through this horrible, horrible uh, field. Yeah. Um, yeah, and so that it's so on the one hand, I think it's that kind of ideal, some kind of ideal self, but not as a real ideal, something you look up to, a role model, something that would be equal to a role model. So it's not something that there's no within the self-help industry. Um, we rarely see ideals. We rarely see abstract values. Actually, it's mostly about you becoming those values. So materialization of those values. Um, and there's a also purposeful uh, blurring of the line between you and your ideals. So in the most ideal case, you will become this ideal. There will be no difference. There will be no reason for you to make a difference between the ideal and yourself because you're the same. You're, after all, if you follow up with all those tips and the quick tips and the quick solutions, if you follow up them, you will most certainly become this ideal person, and there will be no reason for you to make a difference, to differentiate between you and your ideal. So that's one thing. Another thing where a pathological, almost pathological uh, non-differentiation between what I am, what I'm not, is in the subject itself. So um, most of self-help authors, they presume, they rely on a hypothesis. It's probably also broader, much broader mistake also made. Uh, the whole Western culture, they make a mistake by supposing that there exists some unitary subject, a man or woman, person, whatever, uh, who is, although vulnerable, although so they're addressing vulnerable people with problems, sometimes with mental health problems, sometimes verging on denying on the denial verging on denial of the efficiency of traditional treatment medication, um, in goal of uh, furthering their own treatment, self-treatment, let's say. Um, so even though the subject is vulnerable, and they recognize that mostly, uh, he or she at the same time are uh, made unitary and made as if from this moment uh, into the future, he or she are completely in control of their actions and completely in control of their mind. And the only thing that's left for them is to actually realize their unitarity as subjects and to essentially to back up although most of them are very hypocritical in this respect. So they're saying, oh, people will tell you, oh, you just have to buck up, you just have to be stronger, be more resilient, and then they say, okay, this is not the way. You have to. We are different. We are vulnerable. It's okay. It's okay to suffer. Um, but in the end, that doesn't matter because it's you, it's me, it's the unitary me, and only me who can get rid of my problems. And it's only about realizing the power of yourself, and the power that's somewhere deep within you, in some place that never changes, the power that never changes also, and the power that's always good. It's always good, and this power always, if you are a good pupil, a good student of these so-called teachers, if you are a good student, then most certainly you will get to harness this power that is within you, somewhere deep within you, but within you, always in the same place, as I said, and always positive, always good, and always leading to prosperity. Um, most of self-help authors, they're trying to be like more spiritual, and so they're not saying most of them. There are some that are really blatantly honest, and for that matter, more honest and more honorable in general. There are those who are saying, "I will teach you how to make more money," who are making ads and videos boasting expensive cars, uh, 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 enviable relationships with the opposite sex or the same sex. Doesn't really matter.